what motivated her to help her child evade police? I want to bring in Dr. Jody Gold. She is a psychiatrist and author of Screen Smart Parenting. And Jody, this case and its twists and turns for parents and for people who believe in, in raising children with accountability, it's just sort of mind-boggling. Everyone loves their child unconditionally. But what is this? What is in the mindset of this mother?
Oh, this is an example of absolutely terrible parenting. This mother was completely enmeshed with her child. And I don't think it started now. I think it started when he was much younger. But she seemed to not have any sense of where she started, where she ended and he started. It seems to me that she was dependent on him, and she also adultified him. It sounds like from a young child, she called him her protector. She treated him like an adult, and obviously this led to incredibly poor parenting, and she used very poor judgment. It's almost hard to imagine the kind of judgment she used
sometimes when
encouraging him to flee.
Sometimes when when people have a newborn baby, for example, there's almost this oneness of the mother and the baby. In this case, it is almost as if she and this kid are one identity.
Absolutely. So it's very normal when you have a baby that there's sort of a oneness. It's very natural. And with each year, as your child gets older, your child develops its own sense of self. And there's a little bit more measured independence until the mother has her own sense of self and the child has his own sense of self. But in this case, it seems like she's almost lost within him. I know that he was about 9 when she got divorced for the first time, and it seems as, which is often the case, he may have taken on the role of almost being her partner instead of her son.
In this deposition, after he killed these 4 people and terribly wounded 2 others, in one of the depositions, the mother said on video, she was asked, when was the last time you reprimanded your child or told the child no, and she could not remember a time that she had reprimanded or put any kind of restrictions on the child. And in fact, the sheriff remarkably says, talking about how this mother even sort of threw a going away party for the 2 of them before they went to Mexico. Listen to what the sheriff said.
What we suspected all along had happened, that they had planned to disappear, that they even had something that was almost akin to a going away party before they left town. Our suspicion that his mother was assisting him and helping him has proven true, we believe, and so we followed those leads and eventually led to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, where they were taken into custody.
Healthy parenting revolves around accountability and teaching lessons, and I'm not seeing that here.
No, not at all. This is an extreme example of parenting for entitlement. If you look at this child's history, this child from a young age could do sort of no wrong, and the parents, when you're parenting a wealthy child, as in any child, it's really important that there's consequences for actions, that you teach good citizenship, and that was never the case. In fact, the message that they sent to this child was that you're above the law, that you're unique. My understanding is when he was 13, he drove to school, he was allowed to drive, and when the school confronted the family about it, they pulled him out of the school.
Right.
They felt that he could live on his own. There was no consequences for his actions, and it's not an excuse at all. I want to be clear about that.
Right.
But certainly this child grew up in a family where there was no consequences, and you see what happens. And it's the responsibility of parents for there to be consequences for actions, to teach empathy, to teach how to give back. And this did not happen in this case, clearly, to the point of where even when he broke the law, the mother actually was involved with helping him sort of flee the law, which is hard to imagine.
So much has been made of this affluenza term. Even the psychiatrist who testified in court using the word affluenza, he later told us that he regretted using that term. In the old days, those were called spoiled rotten brats. Affluenza wasn't the catchphrase. He regretted using it. But even people who have money and people who don't have money raise spoiled rotten brats. What happens now? What happens now to her? Do you think there can be a change in behavior for this mother and this child and their relationship with each other?
Well, that's hard to say at this point. What I do think is it sends a message to people watching this, how important it is for there to be consequences and to think about the idea of raising spoiled, wealthy brats. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't think that she's responsible for his actions. Mm-hmm. She's certainly responsible for being, her and the father are responsible for being poor parents. And it is something to think about. We're such an affluent country, and there's such a discussion about parenting. It is really important to think about how to raise thoughtful, kind, empathetic kids. And it's not always so easy.
Used to say helicopter parenting, then there was fighter jet parenting where parents are managing everything. Now everyone's their best friend. It is interesting to really take a look at that in our modern society. Dr. Jody Gold, thank you so much. Really interesting analysis. Nice to see you. What's your take? Tweet us at New Day or post your comment on Facebook.com/New Day. John?
All right.